Oh, hi. I got up early today. Went down to watch a movie. I was watching Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I saw that today, just a few hours ago. And I overall I loved it. Um, from the moment it started through at least I'd say probably about halfway, I was just cloud nine, having so much fun. There was maybe one point in the film that slowed down, and I was kind of like, I was able to step out of it, take a look around for a second. But we were on a nice walk in a beautiful place, so I didn't mind it too much. I wouldn't hold that against it. And there was definitely one or two things that were ridiculous, and I could nitpick and be like, that's dumb, or why, or whatever, but I won't, because it was just a couple of things, and like I said, overall, I loved the movie. I had a blast watching it. It was full of plenty of surprises that I really enjoyed. It was full of um, action sequences, some of which, maybe one or two of them, that I'd put up there with Infinity War and Endgame. Like, holy cow, this is amazing to see. Especially that one scene in particular, right about halfway through the film. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Holy cow. Some things we knew, or suspected, or figured were going to be uh, aspects of the film were indeed. Other things that people were sure that might happen or people might appear. Some surprises were that it didn't, or they didn't. Maybe, maybe not. But I did definitely get at least two or three huge surprises that I did not see coming at all. Mainly the mid-credit scene. That mid-credit scene, oh my gosh. Like, when the movie ends, I'm like, what? But then we get the mid-credit scene, and I'm like, okay! And the end credit scene, I had a feeling was just gonna be a gag. But when that gag settled in, I was laughing my butt off. That was pretty funny. Get it? Anyway. Uh, Full disclosure, I'm not a huge fan of Sam Raimi. I'm not like, oh, Sam Raimi's directing it. Oh! I like the Evil Dead films. I'm pretty sure he did all of them. I don't know for a fact if he did the third one, Army of the Dead. I figured he did. If he didn't, correct me. But I like the Evil Dead films, but specifically Army of the Dead, the last one. That's the one I like the most. But I'm not like, oh my gosh, Evil Dead! And as far as Spider-Man, I hate the first Spider-Man movie. I think it's garbage. Yeah, I said it. I mean, okay, it's got some cool, this is how you make a comic book film about it for its time. But overall, the plot and the ridiculous everything, I just think that movie's dumb. I don't like the first Spider-Man. The second one's okay. I know everyone thinks the first two, especially the second one, are like comic book movie royalty, but I think the second one's okay. The third one, I know, the one that's garbage and everyone hates. I love the third Spider-Man movie. I think it's a blast. A bunch of campy fun that shouldn't take too seriously because it's a comic book movie about a Spider-Man. That's just me. I love Sandman and Venom and Topher Grace and everybody. I love that movie. Anyway, so when it comes to Sam Raimi, I'm not like a huge, like, Sam Raimi! But I enjoy his work. However, my favorite Sam Raimi film was Spider-Man 3. Yeah, that's right. I guess he's done other stuff that I'm probably not even thinking of. I guess he did the Wizard of Oz one, the Wizard of Oz prequel movie. The Oz, the Great and Powerful, or whatever it was. I liked that movie. I mean, nothing to write home about, but I liked it. Anyway, I didn't look up his filmography or anything, but that's how much of a casual Raimi fan I am. I'm not like, oh, he did this movie and that movie, and I love this and that. No, Sam Raimi's okay. Cool. My favorite one was Spider-Man 3. Having said that, My favorite Sam Raimi film is now Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I just thought it was so perfectly balanced of tonally, sometimes teetering more towards silly, but can also be serious, can be emotional. Like it balanced all of its themes and structure and emotions and horror and comedy. Like I think it just balanced everything very well and overall was just a blast. The first half, Cloud9, the middle sequence, oh my gosh. And then the second half of the movie I didn't think was as strong as the first half. Kind of like the movie was competing with itself. But overall, I'm like, okay, there's one part in particular that I'm like, well, why aren't I was yelling at the screen, because I can. I was alone. It was fun. And I'm like, why aren't you doing this? Why are you doing that? And it just seemed a little dumb, like it's just a movie trope. So, I'll have to get over it, but it's like, really? Anyway. But aside from that, just a couple of nitpicky things. The ending was fine. I don't think the ending was bad, whether it be the climactic, part or the end part. I just didn't think it was like, oh, and that end. I didn't think the ending was as good as the rest of the movie, and the first half of the movie by far is way more entertaining than the second half, albeit the movie as a whole is very entertaining. I liked the surprises. I think I already went over everything, didn't I? Everything that I can, because I would like to talk about some spoilers, which not now, but in another, I'm going to do that. So overall, I really like this film, especially the end, not the end credit and not the mid credit, but the way the movie ended, like that last moment. What the heck? We're going to need some further info on that. Overall, great movie. Absolutely fantastic. I loved it. It's going to be in my top, probably 25% favorite MCU films. My favorite Raimi. My favorite, man, I'm still like letting a lot of this sink in. Like as I'm thinking of the things I just witnessed, some of it's like, holy cow, that was awesome. And there's a couple things like, we probably could have done without that. There's one part in particular that I'm like, you should just, why did you really just why did that just take 30 seconds? You should have cut that. Anyway, I need to get into spoilers. So this is the end of the regular non-spoiler review. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is a fantastic film, a great comic book film, a great addition to the MCU. There's one plot point that is the greatest plot point I have ever seen in an MCU film, and I love it so much. And you could have spoiled surprise cameos, you could have spoiled the end, you could have spoiled anything about this movie, but that one little plot point that is revealed near the beginning, that was the best surprise for me. I was like, that is the greatest idea ever. And that part, that fact, that thing alone makes me love this movie so much. There are some super bonkers thing in this movie. Fun was the first word I thought of after this movie was over, and bonkers was the second word I thought of when this movie was over. I can't ask for more than that. A movie's only supposed to be entertaining. Boy, was I entertained. It was bonkers. It was fun. Oh, and I saw it in 3D. I haven't seen a 3D movie since December 2019. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker was the last 3D movie I saw. I love 3D. Something about, depth and feeling more a part of the film, I've always enjoyed. So if you're a fan of 3D, see it in 3D. The 3D was amazing. Okie dokie. Popcorn popping in your face in 3D!